8656.
Welcome back to the What's Cooking program, the nation's food, wine, restaurant, and travel show. I'm Michael Horn. That is Paul Stern.
Hi, Mike. Here to talk Valentine's travel with us is Gabe Sagley. Gabe is the senior editor over at Travel Zoo.
Hello, gentlemen.
So, Gabe, we don't have a pass for you on the show.
I heard. I guess I'm barging in on the show. Now I'm feeling guilty about
You're
it.
barging in. So, what's the hot travel locations for us that we should be looking at these days?
Well, listen, if we're talking about Valentine's Day, I'm as big a procrastinator as anybody else. But at this point, we are pushing it just a little bit with Valentine's Day just a couple of days away. The one
we could get away
is that Valentine's Day is on a Monday.
Yeah, you can get away for like a Sunday, Monday. You think places are already booked, or can we get in there with our loved ones on Valentine's Day?
No, definitely if you can do a Sunday, Monday kind of a getaway, if you can afford to take that Monday, even that Tuesday off of next week, you're going to find much better availability. You're going to find the pricing drop considerably, 50%, say, over, trying to get in on Friday, Saturday into Sunday this coming weekend. Now, that's not to say you can't find some good last-minute bargains this weekend, but just expect tighter availability.
My Valentine usually plans a vacation right around this time and leaves at the beginning of February and stays away for about a month. Has a great time and then comes back to see me, and it works out quite well every year.
Oh, does it?
I save money, and the Valentine gets a vacation.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah, but so you're thinking we could get some Sunday, Monday getaways, like to where? What's a place where we could maybe still get booked in?
Well, a couple of places that come to mind: big cities. Places like New York City, Chicago. Amazing things going on in big city hotels. For example, in New York City, places that were charging and getting $300-400 a night in the summer are now charging under $200, even in some cases under $150 a night. A couple of spots around town. Just yesterday, the W New York launched a $199 rate with cocktails that includes this coming weekend and the Sunday to Monday Valentine's stay. There's a place called the Affinia Gardens in the Upper East Side, a suite for $159 with breakfast in the morning.
Oh, wait. This is in New York you're talking about?
New York City.
What's the place called?
That's the Affinia Gardens.
How do you spell Affinia?
AFFINIA.
You're saying the Affinia Gardens for $159 a night in New York? That includes breakfast?
With breakfast for 2 in the morning. For
now,
another $30.
Breakfast for this isn't like some of those rolls where they throw in some of those old Danish things that have been sitting in the back room for days, and they got some orange juice that's squeezed 10 years ago.
No. This is a legit breakfast that'll get you rearing to go the next morning.
You know what I'm talking about, Paul, don't you?
Yeah, we have listeners that are accustomed to to accommodations such as like the Plaza Hotel and of the sort. Yeah, we're not going to let anybody down with a recommendation to the Affinity.
And this is not a bad section of town. Is it a good section?
Well, Upper East Side is actually a pretty posh place to stay, walking distance to Central Park. You have great eateries in the Upper East Side.
So Affinia Gardens, and does that rate hold over the years, or is it just now when it's 29 below outside?
This rate is good over the next couple of months. No doubt when the temperatures drop, obviously the Northeast has been hit with one storm after the other. So this is, the weather may not be ideal, but heck, I was out last night. It was in the 20s, but I had no problem going out, having a grand old time here in New York City.
All right, so that's good. So that's a great tip there. Affinia Gardens, $159. That's a good rate for New York. Boy, you find something for $250. I think you're lucky in New York. That's good. What else you got for us? Another hot tip.
Well, another place to look at, depending on where you are and how easily you can get here, is Florida, South Florida. This is the time of year you'd expect a lot of these South Florida resorts, Miami Beach, South Beach, to really see prices soar. I think what's happening ever since the BP oil spill and the image issue that Florida's been dealing with, a lot of marketing dollars have gone in. And now what we're seeing is unusually good pricing over these winter months when people would expect prices to go up. There's just off the top of my head, there's a relatively new place called the Edgewater Resort. Opened up a few months ago, 4-star property right on Ocean Drive in the Art Deco district of South Beach. Oh. Their rate right now, again, for a suite, $159.
Come on.
And that does come with continental breakfast.
Now,
Again,
continental, that's the one you got to watch out for. That's the one that's got those, those danishes with the white frosting on the top. But that's all right. It's still you still get something. The coffee's got to be good, right?
The coffee's got to be good. And keep in mind, you're across the street from the from the beach there on South Beach.
This is good.
Walking distance to all that nightlife and all the restaurants that are going to keep the sweetheart happy. On a day like Valentine's Day. But the general point here is that, for a lot of people who expect South Beach to be priced out of their, comfort zone this particular time of year, peak season, with winter months, look to this area for unusually good savings between now and, March and April. After that, prices naturally start to drop as the temperatures go up in that part of the country. But this is just an unusually good
It's good, I'm telling you. And by the way, they have those people that diet there a lot, and apparently this is part of it there. The rolls with the sweet sugar on top, part of that South Beach diet that you're talking about in the South Beach area.
Well, you really hung up on the rolls, aren't you?
Yeah, well, as a kid, I had a bad experience because that's what we used to get. We used to actually buy our own when we were traveling, and we go to motor lodges, and in the morning there'd be some Tang that was made from the actual water that was in the restroom that we'd mix up. We'd have Tang and some of these rolls that you'd actually, you hope they were fresh because you took the wrapping off there, and then we'd each have one of those danishes.
And you were worried about the acidity.
Well, I'll tell you.
Well, listen, I mean, there's no doubt that in this era of, tight competition, things like meals, all of a sudden it's become a lot more standard for hotels to offer things like, the added incentive of breakfast in the morning. And, yes, the definition of breakfast will range from place to place. So if you're that concerned about the rolls, you call ahead and have them give you a little bit of a rundown on
if I can kind of throw,
really. I don't want to talk about the rolls. Take it, Paul. I don't want to talk about the rolls.
I hate to kind of throw it in a plug, but for those of you out there that go up to Napa Valley from time to time, I wouldn't be surprised that if our good friends over at the Villaggio Inn and Spa and the Vintage Inn have put on something very special for Valentine's Day as well.
Sure.
Not to take anything away from Gabe.
Good rates, by the way, if you can't get booked elsewhere, that I'll throw one out for you in Barstow, California, if you want to take your loved one out there over the weekend. Got some great rates, and the weather's nice.
I think
weather's nice in Barstow.
We got a KOA campground.
Gabe, for a guy that just kind of ran in here, have you heard of the Welk Resorts, by the way, in Escondido, California?
I used to live in San Diego. I have not stayed there. I know where Escondido
Beautiful.
is. Inland, warm, nice part of the county.
The Lennon sisters are performing there right now, and they're doing the late show at 5:30. So if you can't, give us your website there, Gabe, because you got some great tips. We're going to bring you back as a regularly scheduled guest. What's your website?
It is travelzoo.com, and we're updating these. We're basically just a publisher of travel deals. We're updating the site daily.
Love you, buddy. Thank you, Gabe. Travelzoo.com.
So, Lisa, mucus, what brings you to counseling?
Sinus congestion.